So I've avoided, this real quick, so I've avoided a bunch of surgeries. Like I said, this one was about to, I said I wouldn't be able to raise it. This one, so what he does is he goes in there and he almost like damages the tissue in there, what's left, to create a healing crisis. And he'll put stuff in there, sometimes your own blood. He can even do stem cells. And he goes in there and places this and it comes back stronger. So I used to have a ongoing, every 3 months I would do this to whatever joint was hurting me the most because it was so hard to get in with him. And then I didn't have insurance anymore. Insurance wasn't working. Well, the insurance doesn't cover this anyway. But I wasn't working, and Sharon was stopped working, so we couldn't do this anymore. So I haven't done this in a long time. But just now, it was perfect timing. I would make appointments just ahead of time, just in case, because if something happens, I need it. And a lot of times I just cancel them. Well, this one came perfectly. I was just thinking of Dr. Tallman. It's like, when can I go see him? My shoulder's really hurting me. I did a lot of things in Greece with it, but I picked up my scooter with the luggage on it and had to put it on the bus. And I remember that hurting. I was so mad at that situation. But anyway, so now it was perfect timing. They called me up and said, "You have an appointment tomorrow." I'm like, "Thank you, Abba. I've been needing this. I've been having a tough time just lifting it like this. Hurts. I can do I'm like lifting weights in different positions, but certain ways it hurts pretty bad. And then it keeps me up at night from sleeping because I can't lay on it in any way." And anyway, so here comes Dr. Tallman. He's an amazing doctor. He's like one of a kind. And he's a blessing. It's been a blessing. And I probably avoided, I've had 10 surgeries already. I probably avoided another 10 because I needed the knees done, I needed the hips done, no shoulders, and I haven't done any of those. I was actually scheduled for 3 of them. So, anyway, praise God, I decided to do it. Instead of doing it the Western way, I did it this way, my nature path. He put me on steroids and prescribed growth hormone for me and said, if you want to try it that way, because Ehlers-Danlos, with people with Ehlers-Danlos doing this kind of surgery, especially shoulder surgery, most people, is a pretty harsh thing. It's hard to recover. With Ehlers-Danlos, it's even worse, and a lot of times it actually makes it worse than it does better. So I was stuck, and they were actually preparing me for surgery, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not doing it. The more research I did, and so I listened to Abba and really started raising it. It's hurting a lot right now, but I started raising it in the spirit. It's just the wrong moves that I make it hurt. I aggravated it today. I went to the gym for the last time. I think I just did it somewhere. But anyway, praise Yah. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So that's what's happening. He's going to come damage me so it can make me stronger. That's how we come back stronger, is by being damaged. The tissue that never gets damaged, it doesn't grow. You have to damage the muscle in order to grow it. This is how he grows his trees. And the interesting thing is, hi, how are you? The interesting thing is, and if the reason why, well, this is kind of personal for him, but some of the spiritual stuff is because of this doctor. So, 2 of my favorite doctors.
Hello.
Hey, there he is. How are you?
Good to see you.
Praising God, and it's like been, huh?
Thank God.
Yes. So it's been a lot of praising. I'm going to a pool. Just now went to Greece, my nephew's wedding, and I helped lift the chair up. Not lift it. I was just kind of keeping my arm up there with them. Yeah. The others were doing it, and then I don't know if I did it at that time, but then I finally did it. Was when I'm lifting up I travel with a scooter because sometimes I need it, especially going through.
Like one of those knee scooters?
No, I have an electric scooter. It's like 50 pounds.
Oh yeah.
But I load it up with luggage and everything, and because when I get wiped out, I'm done. I can't even. Or if something goes out, I'm done. Yep. I told them I could walk. They apparently didn't think I was disabled, so they thought it was okay for me to take my scooter and all my luggage and pick it up on the bus and do all kinds of stuff. And I put down that I was disabled.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing that. They still haven't given me my battery. They still have it in Greece.
For the scooter?
Yeah. The pilot was wrong. And that's a whole other hell. So, yeah, I've been doing really good with the shoulder, and that's why I haven't been in. I've been canceling my appointments. And then just now I was thinking, God, when am I going to see Dr. Tallman again? It's going to take forever to make an appointment. And I get the call the next day and found out I had an appointment already.
You're on the A list, remember?
I am?
Make sure he's on the A list.
What does that mean? You got an A list?
Mm-hmm.
No, I appreciate it because I actually had an appointment and it was like God's timing. Okay. And just so you know, if you do anything in Kabbalah, it's because of this man. He's the one that introduced it to me. He just said something about it to me, and God was pushing me about it, and I kind of thought, well, he's a nice guy. I just thought of Madonna before. I thought, okay, but I said, he's a nice guy, and that got me to look into it when he was asking me to. So, anyway, you missed a whole Tesla presentation. This Jewish man that I met at the synagogue, he did the Tesla. He made power in my house. Well, God told me in 91. He literally produces power that was 800-watt helicopter light, and it kept increasing in power. And then, so I'm gonna invite you again next time he does it.
Oh yeah, thank you for that too.
But I'm gonna tell you again because it was really, I want you to meet him. This is all stuff happening right now because it just happens now. I'm like, every time I move it the wrong way, like really, it's killing me. I don't know if I tore it again. I guess I
We'll
did
be
it.
able to see an ultrasound.
Yeah. Praise God, because it's been hurting me. We don't want all the minerals. Yeah, whatever. I kind of need whatever's cheaper right now, the cheapest way.
Well, the blood and the dextrose, they'd be the same.
It'd be the same, okay. Yeah, you've been doing blood you've been doing blood before. So.
Last few times.
Yeah, you've been doing blood every time. The only time was the heavy mineral one that was all the minerals, not just the zinc. That made me swell too much and dislocated my shoulder, and that was a problem.
That's a rough going, yeah, the minerals, the zinc.
So the zinc's good. It hurt, but it's good. But it was when it was another one that had multiple, it made it swell too much.
It's probably just too much.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm so thankful. I was ready to go have surgery. They wanted me to go have surgery, and I never did. Huh?
What were they
The
gonna do?
rotator cuff.
Yeah, they just. I read some article where they say 50% of rotator cuff tears. No, it's 70%. 70% re-tear after 5 years.
After surgery, you mean? Yeah, I can't, especially with Ehlers-Danlos, I can't. So I'm so thankful that I didn't do it, and I came to see him.
7 years.
Because my other favorite doctor told me about his patient. I got to meet him in the room, but he had 2 knees that were totally out. He needed knee replacement on both of them, and he never got the knee replacement. He was playing tennis, and like you could do all this stuff. He was retired. I'm like, you're 25 years older than me, and you can do all these things that I can't do. And sure enough, and I had 2 surgeons. The best knee surgeons tell me I needed surgery, and I was gonna have pain afterwards for my right knee. He worked on it years ago. I don't. Every once in a while, it kind of flares up. He actually picked my favorite spot.
Really?
When I had to do my own IVs, that's exactly where I would hit it. It was the easiest place for me.
Yeah, you have good
I look like a drug addict. They look good, but they roll. They rock and roll, and they're not, because of the Ehlers-Danlos, it's not as exciting as you think, because they pop and they do all kinds of stuff. But that has always been a good spot for me. I try to get people to use that. They like to do it inside there, and I'm like, I always have a problem. They always pop.
I like to do these here.
Yeah.
And hold up this and get this new tape.
So he takes my own blood, and that's the only foreign thing. We're not putting foreign stuff in there at all, really. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't do the surgery. It was just so painful at the beginning. I felt like a hot rod in my shoulder all the time. A lot of it's healed, but I just did something again.
Can you get up behind you?
Yeah, I think so. And it keeps changing on me.
Well, I think you're taking them off.
That's your rotator cuff right there.
Yeah, it's on there somewhere. I'll tell you when we get to that. Yeah, then.
That's your infused right there.
Yeah, that last spot wasn't sore.
That's your supraspinatus right there. That's your supraspinatus.
That hurts.
That's the front of your cuff.
That's the part that hurts. And I try to lift it this way, it hurts.
Is that tender in the AC?
It was torn before. It gets tender sometimes from the gym, but it's not, and it doesn't bother me.
I'm gonna clean you some.
This one is what bothers me.
We'll see the tendon right about 100%.
With this machine, you can see real time the tears and all that better than.
There's the spot.
You see everything right there.
Right there.
So it's a new tear.
Well, It's probably an aggravation of the original tear.
Huh.
There, the tendon looks a little more normal there. That's that's the tendon.
So that white part, that should be all lined up?
That's pretty normal tendon right there. And then now we're getting some tendonitis here, so it looks kind of roughened. And then that's the tear right there. That shouldn't be that dark shadow shouldn't be there, Then there's little corresponding parts, and those are called.
It was so much better. I mean, I was hardly even. I was almost back to normal. I was lifting all kinds of stuff. So he spent the money on this same thing, and helps God's people.
This has got my shoulder treatments done by a third, I would say.
So is it mush there? Is that why it's pushing down the other end? What is that?
It's just shredded. It's
shredded there.
That's why I grab a little push. Take a breath. Let's say like a grab that.
You're right in the spot? Look at that. See, he's doing it. He sees it right as he's doing it. Ow!
I'm right where I want to be.
I can tell.
Let's give it a second to numb a little bit. Like let's say I grab that pygmy day palm out there and I just start pulling. So even though the tree's still rooted in the bone, the roots pop up. That's what happens to the tendons. The roots and the tendons in the bone.
So is this we're just gonna strengthen the whatever's still attached, or is it gonna attach?
It'll reseed itself out.
It will, huh?
Yes.
Abba gave us an ability to reheal, huh?
Good.
So Stone knows I moan and groan a lot, right?
Ancient Greeks did treatments like this.
Yeah. They were smarter than the Greeks today.
Do you know that Richard Lynn guy that does? He's retired now. He's an Oxford guy. He spent his life's work on researching IQ around the world.
Oh, the one that did the bell curve thing? The bell thing, where he said found the Jews, the Hebrew people had the, yeah?
That was Richard Lynn. Someone paid him to research, to guess the IQ of the ancient Greeks, and
really?
Came up with 120, like an average IQ.
Really?
Of
well, on the island that I'm from, it's actually called Kefalo. It means head. We're either crazy or really smart. I got a combination, I think. I don't know. But it's interesting because even at the Antikythera, did you see that Antikythera mechanism? We just came from that island. God told me he was claiming it for his children. So just so you know, if it gets really bad here at some time, Antikythera, that island, is going to be a place that we need to go to. It's in Greece. It's right above Crete, and that's where I found out our bloodline. Stone's been researching it, and our bloodlines came through there, left Egypt even before the Exodus. Some did, but you could see the bloodline going in there where my Jewish roots. Yeah.
Well, then you need the Israelites.
Yes. And that's why he was waking us up now. It's like we're finding each other all over the place. You hear me moan and groan a lot more. The disease hurts way more than this does. So just so you know, it doesn't hurt. He just got the nerve when it was, but it wasn't. I feel that all the time. You heard me say ow, but you hear me doing that all the time, don't you? Mm-hmm. Just by moving it. So it really is no extra pain. Mm-hmm. So anybody that's scared of this, don't be. Which meanwhile, I need to bring my mom in. Would you see her? She has she needs shoulder surgery.
Yeah.
She has no cartilage. I mean, it's bad.
She said never. Right?
You go to hug her, and it just crickles and crackles, and she's in a lot of pain. And I keep telling her to come.
My mom's first time I did the stem cell treatment on.
Yeah.
My dad was like, "Do you think you should do a couple of patients for you?"
Did your mom?
No, mom's the perfect first one.
She's not gonna sue me.
Actually, it kind of went too good. It went perfect. I think it went too good.
You know, it's funny. I was just thinking about that
last time
today.
we did my mom. We did the bone room.
Wow.
He had 27.
See, he's the only one that I trust. Actually, he goes into my spine with something like this big. How big was it? The one that you went through? You went through once under here and went to my ribs, and the other one you were doing in my neck. Anyway, big needles. But he's really good. He knows exactly where.
Well, this is so it helps when you do one thing all day for 18 years. This is what I've done for 18 years, or the shots.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad I came back. First time I came, we didn't know I had Ehlers-Danlos, so it was kind of
I think a lot of people.
he didn't know even where to start. I'm kind of like, what? It hurts everywhere.
I think a lot of people have ED light, Ehlers-Danlos light.
Yes, I see a lot of that too. It's a whole spectrum. I'm finding their Hebrew.
Take a breath.
So I couldn't find one Greek Orthodox person that can tell me the 10 Commandments. I couldn't even find a priest.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, it's not. And so it was full of all the, all the idolatries and all the images and all that kind of stuff. He's getting really angry about. I had no idea how angry he is about this stuff. That's why he wants it out of Jerusalem. That's why he has me go there with a stick. So all the people, they say you need surgery or you need to do this or that. I've probably avoided, I'm guessing 10 because I keep redamaging them. Right? You said even if I did surgery, I probably would have redamaged them.
Well, let's say you got a perfect tendon. All right, go ahead and take your arm out.
Take my arm out?
Let's say you never had a rotator cuff issue and you had a beautiful rotator cuff tendon, and you're out skiing and you tear the tendon, then you want to get it stitched back on.
Yes.
But if there's already some tendinosis, already a little tearing already, and then it tears, they try to tack that on, it's just going to re-tear it. Because it's like
And especially with our tissue, it just kind of like.
It's weakened tendon. So.
Yeah. So this makes it stronger and it grows back stronger. And it's your own body. Two surgeons told me that I wouldn't raise it without surgery. So I raised them both up. They were both Jews too. And I said, look what your God can do. Hallelujah. I raised them both up and said, hallelujah. It was right there when I had to play Yeshua in the play. Remember? I don't know if you remember that. That's when this happened to me.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
He wanted me to feel it. I had to feel what it felt like to have dislocated shoulders and that kind of shoulder pain that he had up there. That's all I could feel was that part. Gosh, if he would have given me all of it. And then this one was my worst shoulder for a long time, and now it's not as bad. This one's worse than that.
Back to Israel?
Yeah.
When was the last time you were there?
When was the last time I was there, Stone? Do you know? The last holiday, maybe. I didn't go for Shavuot this year. So it must have been last fall.
Yeah, they said you got in a little trouble, and it seemed like they're not talking about it anymore.
Yeah, well, then you got all this shooting stuff going on, and it makes everybody turn their eyes from the truth. There's a lot going on right now. I'm so happy that all the exposure. That's what he's doing. He's bringing his light down, exposing all the evil. I had no idea he was going to do this through us. That was the whole plan. For him to work through us. It's like we're waiting for him. He's like, I already came and died to be the Spirit. That's how I'm able to go to the gym and do what I'm doing. I'm doing all this stuff with the Spirit. I spend the rest of the day in bed.
Scapularis right there. That's
Okay.
the front of your rotator cuff. That's the subscapularis right there. So
it's another,
well, it's a fray. That's frayed. Okay.
Frayed.
Fraying.
Okay, yeah, please do.
You're a healing machine.
That's the thing, yeah, exactly.
I flew off a scooter. I tell you, I flew off a scooter
Yeah.
back in February.
No.
And I was going 16.1 mile an hour, okay, because I checked the speedometer right before I flew off that thing. And I hit the ground so hard. I knew better to tuck and roll, but reflex got the better of me, and I threw my hand out. And my elbow cracked the cement so hard.
Oh my gosh, which one?
I shattered my elbow. And then when I got up, I thought, no, I better not move my elbow. I thought it was going to move in like 3 or 4 places when I bent it. And I bent it up, and I was like, oh, back normally. And then I was kind of reluctant to put my hand down there,
Yeah.
I kind of reluctantly put my hand there. I was like,
It's okay.
it's normal. Like,
Hallelujah.
That's right. It's like, I'm invincible. That was a miracle of God, you tell me. And then
You ever feel like he's
that was a
hidden
that was a
superheroes?
total miracle.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I better be careful now because that was a miracle.
Yeah. He says nothing will touch us. I'm actually okay. So I got to go to the eye doctor specialist because the old doctor, when I told him what I did, he's like, "Well, you better go see the specialist." But he said my eyes were the healthiest part of my body. I went to the specialist and I went to yesterday. And I said, I've been staring at the sun.
Like the sun gazer?
Yeah, I've been staring at the sun because he told me how healthy my eyes were. I'm like, okay, now I can tell you. He goes, what? On purpose? And he's like, if you care about your sight, he was just lecturing me.
The doctor?
Yeah, and I said, actually, my eyesight is 220 now. I didn't have 20/20. I didn't have 20/20 before.
Do you do like the early morning sun?
I started that way, but I can look at it at noontime now. It doesn't bother me. And it's all part of his presence in us, his frequency.
I'm right where I want to be. Okay, I'm right where I want to be.
Cool.
Now I need to talk to you about decompression. I'll show you what down here. Just remind me to
Okay.
talk to you about decompressing your joints. Sorry, I've been doing that. That's not me. The other thing I've done, I stopped eating nightshades, and I swear.
See, I love those. Those are some of our favorites. Those are like staples now.
I just feel better all the way around.
Really?
Better all
In the
my
joints?
body. Yeah,
I think we need to
nightshades.
stop that stuff. It's kind of like,
And then more, potatoes, tomatoes, peppers.
onions.
Onions aren't.
They're not? Really?
No, tomatoes, potatoes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
eggplants,
Eggplant. Yeah, see, that's what we eat a lot of.
You know, most of the edible nightshades are all from the New World, and so I think a lot of Europeans.
Is it because of our?
Are really tolerant of them because there's peculiar alkaloids in all the nightshades. There's nicotine in all the nightshades. You know that?
No.
That's part of the lure of French fries and ketchup. There's nicotine in both of them.
Really? That's interesting.
But some people are starting to think that nightshades, are they produce. The plant doesn't want you to eat them. So, versus some plants that kind of want you to eat them.
Oh, so they throw some sort of toxin or something out?
Yeah, because they don't want you to eat them.
Of course.
Versus some plants like green beans, they kind of entice you to eat them. Because the plant knows that you're helping the plant kind of stick around, you know what I'm saying?
Wow. We were talking about that that there's actually consciousness in the plants as well. Yeah. Everything is, isn't it?
Trying to figure out what's called quorum sensing.
Quorum?
Quorum. Because, if you go to the rainforest, and if a virus hits a tree in a certain part of the rainforest, trees that are the same species.
Oh, they'll warn the other ones.
They'll start
They'll warn.
producing antibodies to the virus.
Oh. But I heard the root systems talk to each other too, don't they? I heard something about that they were, but if we're all connected and everything's connected, it all makes sense.
That's your pick down here. It's okay. This doesn't bother you down here, right? It's your pick.
It's all relative, Doc.
Yeah, there's a little tenderness in your pick, but there's no.
In my pack?
That's your
I
pick
just
down
did that
here.
today.
That's your pick.
Yeah, it's ow. Yeah. That hurts. But if you could do that with my whole body, you'll find spots everywhere. I can actually see the shoulder drop in that one. So this is the only stuff that actually really works for me, and of course it's not covered under insurance because anything that seems to work for us isn't covered. Can you tell me why that is, Doc?
I can see why they would want to cover it because treatments like this is very technique sensitive, and the doctor doesn't take his time to do it right.
They can't really train it in mass quantity kind of thing. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, it's a skill that the doctor doesn't have the hand technique.
I wonder how many times I've had this shoulder done. I can't. But I keep damaging it.
The other thing is there's no code for perfection in medicine, so like if I want to take my time and do stuff right, I'm not gonna. There's no code for that. I'm not gonna get rewarded for.
You're not going to get paid for taking the extra time that's needed.
There's some geek doctor that wants to do something in 5 seconds and see, 10 patients an hour. It's going to be the exact same code. So
This seems to be the only thing that actually does help people, especially with Edwards Damos. Well, other stuff that actually works, why is that not? Like, it seems like Rockefeller has his hand in everything. It's like you can trace it all back.
we need to get
Every
back to,
single association seems like it was started by by him.
My kids are watching this show that talked about all the food barons,
Yeah.
like Kellogg and Heinz and those guys.
Oh, they're all.
And they did devious. So Heinz one day, took. This is my kids telling me. So.
Oh, I'm really interested in Heinz because I find it very interesting that it's illegal in Israel now.
Got that. So Heinz, one year bought all the glass bottles that could be used to make bottle ketchup and put them on a boat and sunk them all. So no one else could buy.
Can make ketchup.
That could make ketchup, isn't it? Bizarre.
Yeah.
And I guess Hershey's.
First, he bought all the.
That probably still goes.
He
on
got rid of
nowadays.
hemp because he bought all the trees, the pine trees in California. And he helped get hemp illegal so that he would make money from his trees that took thousands of years to grow, or hundreds of years to grow.
Corporatism. That's not capitalism. That's corporatism.
Well, see, that's the cool thing is, this is what Abba's telling me is he's raising us up to bring judgment to those people. I ask for judgment. I take them, and you know what? From what I understand and what I see, we have power over the lawless.
Well, it's bad people only get stoned because good people don't do anything.
Exactly. And see, then the good people start to do something, then they call them bad. They actually think I was satanic in Greece. Everywhere I go, seems like.
I was like that. One takeaway I had from anything from Disney is that Sleeping Beauty, when they talk about the sword of truth, the shield of righteousness.
Yes. But look at what's all coming up now. They're all the pedophiles. All this stuff is coming out now. All this evil we've been asking for it. The church is being exposed. I embarrassed every priest that I found over there because they all told me on the Holy Mountain you'll find people that know him. I'm like, they don't know him. I was done with it. Do you know the ones down there at the monastery? I actually went down there and he told me he was going to take out the main guy in charge, Ephraim. And he did right after that. And
What happened? Like, did he die?
no, he's just sick. He's not been seeing people anymore. He's not been well. But he lied to me. And the second one, Paisios, I always liked him. He's the one who called the cops on me. I didn't tell you this story? I went down there with my stick because he wanted me to. It was just a long story, but I left the plaque of the 10 Commandments that I, by accident, broke.
Oh, I think you remember telling me that.
Yeah, and I left it on the Chapel of Elijah, which was something I saw a vision of 10 years prior, a man dancing up there. That was actually me.
What did they do, or what happened when you went down there?
We're down the monastery? No, they called the cops on me, and it was funny because the policeman asked a friend of ours, they're like, what's wrong with him? Why is he so angry? Not what's wrong with him, why is he so angry? And my friend Ann says, because they broke the laws. And the guy looks at the guy.
Laws.
You know, it was funny because the guy looks at her and he goes, like Moses? And they both started laughing. It really is funny because when it comes down to it, it's so silly.
That it made you leave for?
Oh yeah, he basically, and he told my wife that she can come anytime she wants, but I had to leave. And basically I told him, I said all the icons and all the idolatries that you're kissing is all cursed now. And he's cursing them now. He's done with that.
Was the cops?
No, it was just a local Arizona cop, but he was just He was funny. He was like Moses.
Yeah, we didn't know what to do.
Well, yeah, it's some crazy guy. I was dressed in sackcloth. Yeah, I'm that guy.
I thought you were doing some reenactments.
But see, I have no desire to do any kind of reenactments. I have no desire to do any of that. I didn't want to play him. I kept telling them, you need to find somebody else. Literally, like days prior to playing him in the play, I actually I got a black eye too, out of the blue. Probably because I took an aspirin or a Motrin for the shoulder thing. But just out of the blue, I bursted a blood vessel or something while I was in the bathroom talking to my wife. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I don't want to do any of it, but I do it because I love them. And somebody needs to tell them, you can't keep teaching people to curse themselves, that it's good. I had one priest call me a Muslim because I didn't eat pork anymore. I mean, they've gone so far away from the law, and that's what I love. I love it. I go, do you have a right to judge the homosexuals? Well, yes. And I said, well, I have a right to judge you for eating pork. It's called the same thing and the same. It's the same thing.
What says one John or to love the law?
Is not, yeah, exactly. So they lied to us. They know the Virgin Mary. They know Ashtoreth, actually. They know the Queen of Heaven. And they're those saints.
Sermon on the Mount, he said, whoever is greatest in heaven are the ones that do and teach the laws.
Yes.
Those least.
And he says, anybody who teaches you to break the least of these commandments will be the least in the kingdom. But somehow we're all equal there too. Anyway, it all has to do with this fire and light.
What's your trying?
As a look, it's a shame. They say it's the same God, they believe in him, but 10 commandments, really 10 fingers, 10 commandments, how simple. When I was raised, you didn't teach them to me. You guys failed. That's my message. He literally has me go around with a stick that was prophesied by a Jewish prophet, Jewish and Greek Orthodox too. Born a Jew, but converted. And he told me I had the stick that was the measuring stick, the plumb line. And that's what happened. It was that stick. And everybody knows me by the stick. They all know me in Jerusalem, everywhere I go. And that stick gets everybody talking. And it has the law written in Paleo Hebrew and how it's written.
You might be sore for a couple days.
Yeah.
Sometimes the blood causes soreness, sometimes not. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a little unpredictable.
It was fine until that last one. Now it's starting to. Well, now it's starting to swell too. Well, it just hurt doing that anyway. Actually. Yeah. When you were just doing it, it used to hurt. I was having to move it with my other arm. I would grab it with the other hand to move it. It was just getting bad again. So there's something there left to work with.
I mean, there's still 10 in there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that was it. Now I'm gonna go home. It's gonna be sore, and I can't take any painkillers because you don't want to decrease the inflammation. You want that whole healing crisis. But in a few days, it'll start feeling better, and then it'll start feeling better than it was before. So I've done this many, many, many times. I don't know how many times I've done this shoulder. I've probably done it at least 20 times now. Just because I kept tearing it. It's what I use the most. So anyway, I guess that's it for now. This is how I avoid surgeries. It's like having a lot of little surgeries all the time, but it feels like afterwards it does feel like you just had surgery, but not as long. The recovery is not anywhere. This just lasts a day or two, a few, and then it's much better. Anyway, praise God for people like this that are willing to do it, use their gift for the kingdom. That's what it's all about. He has a special gift and it doesn't match anybody's gifts. It's something different. And so we respect these people as